Fall Creek. Imagine a town where people vanish without a trace, leaving behind only empty houses and unanswered questions. This is not a tale spun from the depths of fiction, but the chilling reality of a seemingly ordinary town named Fall Creek. Nestled amidst nature's bounty, Fall Creek was once a lively settlement. It thrived on its sense of community, on the laughter of children playing in the streets, and the comforting hum of everyday life. But, over the years, a shroud of eerie silence has fallen over Fall Creek, broken only by the whispers of the wind and the creaking of deserted homes. The town, once filled with life, now stands as a ghost of its past. The houses, still bearing the marks of their inhabitants, stand empty and forlorn. Abandoned cars, their once glossy paint now faded and chipped, serve as silent reminders of the people who once called this place home. Fall Creek has been the subject of numerous investigations, each one attempting to pierce the veil of mystery that surrounds the town, but the truth remains elusive. The only certainties are the disappearances, unexplained, unnerving, and seemingly unending. Each departure adds another layer of uncertainty, another question to the pile of unsolved mysteries. Despite the ominous air that hangs heavy over the town, life goes on. The remaining inhabitants of Fall Creek continue to exist in this unsettling reality, their eyes always glancing over their shoulders, their hearts always skipping a beat at the slightest of sounds. A sense of dread has seeped into the very soil of Fall Creek, creating an unnerving backdrop to the town's everyday life. But as we delve deeper into the mystery of Fall Creek, we find that the town is not as innocent as it appears. Beneath its mundane facade, there lurks a darkness, a sinister secret that has claimed many and threatens to claim more. And so the tale of Fall Creek continues, a chilling testament to the unknown and the unexplained. Behind the facade of a quiet town lurk dark tales and unsettling legends that seem to hold the key to the mystery. This place, known to the world for its picturesque beauty and serene life, conceals a myriad of secrets beneath its surface. The locals, bound by generations of whispered tales, are the keepers of a history that intertwines reality with the uncanny. The woods that frame the town, verdant and tranquil, are believed to host strange creatures. Not your ordinary woodland inhabitants, mind you, but beings of a different kind, lurking in the shadows, only emerging under the cloak of darkness. The rustling leaves and the nocturnal chorus of the woods are said to carry their whispers, their eerie symphony a constant reminder of the town's haunted past. Then there's the legend of the ancient curse, an ethereal shroud that supposedly hangs over the town, its origin lost in the mists of time. Some say it was the wrath of a scorned witch, others believe it was a punishment from the gods. The curse, they say, is the reason for the unexplainable happenings, the strange phenomena that defy logic and reason. And let's not forget the rumors of a secret society operating in the shadows, a clandestine group that supposedly controls the town's fate. Their meetings held under the moonlight, their rituals cloaked in secrecy, their influence feared by all. Could they be the puppet masters behind the curtain, orchestrating the town's bizarre occurrences? These stories, dismissed as mere superstition by outsiders, form an integral part of the town's identity. They are the threads that weave the rich tapestry of its history, the ink that writes its narrative. And yet the answer remains elusive, the mystery deepens and the fear intensifies. As we delve deeper into the heart of this town, one can't help but wonder, are these legends mere figments of imagination? Or do they hold the key to unlocking the truth? In this town of secrets, a sinister discovery sets the stage for a horrifying revelation. Nestled in the heart of a forgotten attic, a relic of the past emerges. An old hidden diary that once belonged to one of the missing persons. This diary, a tangible echo of fear and desperation, becomes a key to understanding the cryptic events that have been tormenting this town. The diary's pages, yellowed with age, are filled with an eerie narrative that unfolds like a nightmare. The entries, penned in a trembling hand, reveal a mind growing increasingly paranoid and fearful. They speak of strange, faceless figures lurking in the shadows, their eyes gleaming with an unsettling hunger. These ominous apparitions seem to be watching, waiting, their presence an insidious specter that haunts the writer's every waking moment. The diary chronicles a life lived in the throbbing pulse of fear, of doors locked and windows shuttered, of glances thrown over the shoulder, and of a dread that clings like a second skin. It paints a portrait of a world where the ordinary becomes sinister, where every creak of the floorboard, every rustle of the wind becomes a prelude to an unseen terror. The last entry, written in a frantic scrawl on the day of the person's disappearance, ends with a chilling phrase, "They are coming." The words seem to hang in the air, a spectral whisper that echoes through the silence, a promise of a terror yet to unfold. As we delve deeper into this chilling narrative, we are led to a precipice of fear and uncertainty. The diary, a silent testament to the horrors endured, leaves us with more questions than answers. Who are they? What malevolent force has cast its shadow over this once peaceful town? And more importantly, are they still out there? As we stand on the brink of uncovering the terrifying truth, we can't help but ask, who are they? And more importantly, are they still out there? In the face of the unknown, one can't help but feel a sense of impending doom. Such is the state in Fall Creek, a town gripped by an all-consuming terror. Each echo, every fleeting shadow, intensifies their dread. The sinister discovery has only fanned the flames of their fear, adding layers to an already palpable tension. As we leave Fall Creek and its chilling secrets behind, one question remains. Will we ever uncover the truth, or is it destined to remain a horrifying enigma? The frequency of fear. In the small, seemingly mundane town of Evershade, an anomaly stirred beneath the surface of everyday life. It began subtly, with residents complaining of strange interference on their radios and televisions. Static-filled voices and distorted images flickered in and out, always at the edge of comprehension. Among the townsfolk, Mark, a local radio technician, became obsessed with these anomalies. He spent sleepless nights tracking the source of the disturbances, his mind haunted by the ghostly whispers and fleeting shadows that seemed to dance across his screens. The disturbances grew increasingly frequent and intense. People reported nightmares of a forgotten era, filled with visions of shadowy figures communicating through outdated technological mediums. These nightmares left them with a profound sense of dread, an echo of something ancient and malevolent. Mark, driven by a need to understand, finally traced the source to an old, abandoned broadcasting station on the outskirts of town. The station, a relic from a bygone era, was rumored to have been shut down after a series of unexplained incidents. As he explored the dust-laden corridors of the station, Mark discovered a room filled with antiquated broadcasting equipment that was inexplicably operational. The air was thick with a static charge that made his skin crawl. He felt as though unseen eyes were watching him from the shadows. In the heart of the room, Mark found an old, tube-style radio set, its dials glowing with an eerie light. The whispers and shadows seemed to emanate from this device. Compelled, Mark reached out and tuned the dial. What he heard was not of this world. Voices from different times and places, speaking in languages both known and unknown, converged in a cacophony of timeless horror. The voices spoke of secrets hidden within the static, of a realm where the forgotten and the forbidden resided. As the voices grew louder, the boundaries between the past, present, and future blurred. Mark realized that the station was a conduit to a dimension where human fears and nightmares were broadcasted into reality, seeping into the minds of the unsuspecting. The realization was too much for Mark. His mind fractured under the weight of the cosmic horror he had uncovered. He fled the station, but the voices followed him, echoing in the static of every electronic device he encountered. The town of Evershade, now plagued by the broadcasts from the forgotten station, became a nexus of analog horror. The residents, trapped in a cycle of nightmares and paranoia, were haunted by the perpetual whispers of the past, present, and future. Mark, forever changed, roamed the streets of Evershade, a living testament to the power of the station. His eyes, once filled with curiosity, now mirrored the abyss he had gazed into, a reminder that some frequencies were never meant to be tuned into. The endless hallway. In the quaint town of Harrogate, nestled between fog-draped hills, a peculiar phenomenon began to unsettle its residents. It started with Emma, a local librarian, who shared her troubling experience during a town meeting. Each night, she found herself walking down an endless, dimly lit hallway, lined with countless doors on either side. No matter how far she walked, the hallway stretched on, an infinite corridor in a nightmarish loop. Soon, others in Harrogate confessed to experiencing the same recurring dream. Every night they would wander this endless hallway, a sense of dread growing with each step. The dreams were vivid, unsettlingly consistent and shared by young and old alike. The townsfolk became restless, plagued by fatigue and a growing sense of unease. Dr. Alden, a psychologist and a skeptic, decided to investigate. He organized a group session with the dreamers, hoping to find a rational explanation. As the group delved into their collective nightmare, a chilling revelation emerged. They all described seeing a peculiar door, different from the others, marked with a strange symbol, an eye encased within a triangle. Determined to unravel the mystery, Dr. Alden suggested a radical experiment. He would hypnotize the group, guiding them into a shared dream state to explore the hallway together. The town, desperate for answers, agreed. That night, under Dr. Alden's guidance, the group entered the dream. They found themselves in the hallway, the oppressive air heavy with anticipation. Together they walked towards the marked door. As they approached, whispers seemed to emanate from the cracks in the floor, each step intensifying the feeling of an unseen presence watching them. Emma, driven by an inexplicable compulsion, reached for the door handle. The moment her hand touched the cold metal, the hallway dissolved around them, revealing a vast, shadow-filled void. In this abyss, they saw visions of Harrowgate's past and future, horrors hidden beneath the town's serene facade, and ominous premonitions of what was to come. The group was thrown into a state of panic. Dr. Alden, realizing the experiment had gone horribly wrong, struggled to awaken them, but the dream had taken on a life of its own. The visions became more intense, revealing deep-seated fears and dark secrets of each participant. They were not just observers, they were now part of the dream. As the line between reality and nightmare blurred, Emma, driven by an unknown force, led the group deeper into the void. They encountered apparitions, twisted reflections of themselves, and scenes of unspeakable terror that tested the limits of their sanity. In the waking world, Dr. Alden watched helplessly as the group remained trapped in a collective coma, their faces twisted in expressions of fear. He realized that the doorway in the dream was a gateway to the subconscious mind of Harrowgate, unleashing the town's collective fears and nightmares into their reality. The group remained lost in the dream, wandering the endless void, unable to escape. Harrowgate, now haunted by the unresolved fears and nightmares of its residents, became a town shrouded in perpetual darkness, a reminder of the power of the human mind to create and sustain its own horrors. And the endless hallway, with its mysterious marked door, continued to appear in the dreams of others, an invitation to explore the depths of their darkest fears. Echoes of nothingness. In the remote town of Eldritch Falls, something beyond comprehension began to unfold. The first sign was subtle, almost imperceptible, a growing feeling of disquiet among the townspeople. It was as if the very fabric of reality had shifted, leaving an unshakable sense of wrongness in its wake. The epicenter of this disturbance was the old Hadley estate, a once magnificent mansion now fallen into disrepair. Its last known occupant, Professor Hadley, a reclusive physicist, had vanished without a trace years ago, leaving behind rumors of strange experiments that toyed with the nature of existence. One night, under a starless sky, the town's power grid inexplicably failed, plunging Eldritch Falls into darkness. In the suffocating blackness, people reported seeing fleeting glimpses of otherworldly phenomena, shapes and colors that defied description, and a haunting melody that seemed to emanate from the Hadley estate. Curiosity and dread in equal measure led a group of townsfolk, including Sarah, a local journalist, and Father O'Brien, the town's priest, to investigate the estate. As they approached, the air grew colder, and the melody became a cacophony of whispers, echoing from the crumbling walls. Inside, they found the mansion warped by an unnatural geometry, with corridors that twisted into impossible angles, and rooms that seemed to shift and change. In the heart of the mansion, they discovered Professor Hadley's study, filled with cryptic notes and bizarre instruments. As they examined his research, they uncovered the unthinkable. Hadley had been experimenting with the very essence of reality. His notes spoke of a void, an existential abyss that lay beyond the boundaries of space and time. He believed this void was the source of all existence, and by tapping into it, he could unravel the secrets of the universe. But his experiments had consequences. The group realized that the disturbances in Eldritch Falls were echoes of the void, a reality unraveling at the seams. The more they read, the more the world around them began to distort, as if being pulled towards an unseen maw. Father O'Brien, grappling with the implications of Hadley's work, saw it as a challenge to the very notion of creation. For him, the void represented a negation of all belief, a cosmic emptiness that devoured meaning and purpose. Sarah, meanwhile, was consumed by a profound existential terror. The idea that their reality was just a fragile veneer over an endless, indifferent abyss filled her with a dread that transcended physical fear. As the night wore on, the mansion itself seemed to become a conduit to the void. The walls pulsed with a dark energy, and the whispers coalesced into a voice that spoke of the insignificance of their existence. The group was tormented by visions of infinite emptiness, a universe devoid of life, light, or hope. In the climax of their ordeal, the mansion began to collapse into the void. The group fled, pursued by the encroaching nothingness. As they escaped the collapsing estate, they looked back to see the mansion consumed by a black hole, a gaping maw where reality itself was devoured. Eldritch Falls returned to normal, but the scars of that night remained. The townspeople were left with a lingering existential dread, a knowledge of the fragility of their existence in the face of the incomprehensible void. Sarah's articles on the incident went unpublished, dismissed as the ramblings of a mind unhinged by fear. Father O'Brien grappled with his faith, forever haunted by the glimpse into the abyss, and the Hadley estate, now a void in the landscape of Eldritch Falls, stood as a silent testament to the terrifying truth that lay just beyond the veil of reality, an echo of nothingness that whispered of the horror of existence itself.